Hi, I'm Louise Hudson, and this is Gretchen Kother with Lee County Federated Republican Women. We're here today to interview Arleen Standiford. Arleen, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what you're running for, please?
Yes, my name is Arleen Standiford. I live in Carlsbad, New Mexico. I'm running for the Public Education Commission. And what else did you need to know about me?
Just a couple of things about you, maybe.
Okay, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a teacher, and an assistant principal.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Very nice. Okay, so the first question we have is, what does a public education commissioner do?
Well, the main job of a public education commissioner now is to approve or disapprove charter schools. That's really the main thing they do. It's kind of a vestige from when we used to have a board, and the state used to vote for a board, a state school board. After it changed, we had a state secretary. They went ahead and created the commission, and at the same time we started charter schools, and so the commission had a job, and that was to approve state authorized charter schools, not district charter schools.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, what part do you think that charter schools play in the New Mexico school system?
Well, I think obviously they're really important. I've actually worked for charter schools for most of my 20 years in education. I started a charter school, and I was actually on the original nonprofit, the state nonprofit, New Mexico Coalition for Charter Schools. I think they offer a lot of choices. We do have 2 charter schools here in Carlsbad, one of them which I founded myself. And my own children were not getting their needs met in the traditional school. Me and a couple of mothers worked trying to get the things we needed, and we realized that there was other routes and other ways we could do it, and we got together and started Jefferson Montessori Academy. But I think people need choice, and that charter schools fill that role. I think also charter schools can be more innovative. They can do more things that district schools can't do because they're just so big. And sometimes it just takes a lot to get that agreement in the constituency. And so with a charter school, they're a lot more innovative in my experience working in them.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right, and the third question is, what do you see as the most important issue with the charter school system?
Well, I think it's it's actually an issue that's facing all schools, not just charter schools, and that is that funding is a real challenge, and that doesn't matter whether you're in a district school or a charter school. Also, I think that there's some misinformation on how beneficial charter schools are for our state. I think people don't realize that they're not just good for students, which everybody knows they are. They're good for teachers. I know as a teacher that I have some excellent training and experience in charter schools. And, I think that is just, it's good for parents. Parents have a choice. Maybe there's certain things they believe a little bit stronger in. For example, I worked in a dual language school. Maybe a parent would like to send their kid to a school where they learn 2 languages. I worked in an international school. Maybe they'd like to go there and do that route, an IB school. So those kinds of things, you can't just go to a district and say, hey, I want a district, I want an IB school, or I want this or want that. But if you have a choice, then you don't have to beg the school for it. It's there. It's just kind of an option for parents. It helps students with their needs, and it also helps teachers so that they have options. If I just worked for a district, and then let's say, for example, I didn't like where I was working, maybe I didn't like the school, or and I asked for a transfer, they didn't give it to me. If there's a charter school, I could go and move to that charter school, still keep my retirement, still keep my insurance, still keep my career as a teacher. So all in all, it just helps everyone.
All right,
Okay,
thanks.
Thank you. So that's the 3 questions you've already had to be able to look at. Now we're going to ask you a question that was submitted to us by one of our constituents, and that would be, what would your plan be to implement change?
In the education?
Yes.
Well, I think, one thing that's really interesting about New Mexico, there's 3 things really amazing about New Mexico. And number 1 is that we're actually a small state and with a small population. And I think that's important because we can make change better than some of these more populous states. But that wouldn't be enough. But the second thing we have actually is the most unique funding formula in the country. It is student-centered. So a student takes with them their funding formula. And so that's important because then we as schools, charters, districts, we compete for that student. Because when that student comes to us, that student comes with that funding formula. And that funding formula takes into account, are they in special education? Are they a first grader that needs a certain number of funding? Kindergartners need 50% more funding just to be a kindergartner, because it just takes less pupil-teacher ratio, it takes more stuff for kindergarten. So all this is built into the formula. Do they a dual language? That's built into the formula. So all of that is really interesting. It's very unique. When I went and got my master's degree in educational administration, I was just amazed how special New Mexico is for that. So that's two things right there. And the third thing is I don't know if you know this, but we lost a lawsuit, Martinez versus Yazzie. And what had happened is we, as New Mexicans, we have so many multiple cultures, but sometimes we don't treat all of our people equitably, and that includes in the schools. And so a lawsuit was taken to the courts. The public education department lost. They decided not to appeal it, and what they've done now is they have decided, you know what, we need to take responsibility for this, and we need to implement a way that we are treating people equitably. And that doesn't mean equal. That means that we treat people like human beings, student-centered, that we care about them, what's called responsive education. That means that we're looking at them, we're looking at their needs. And so that public education is unique because they've taken that and they've made that part of their mission. So we have everything in place to improve schools. But what we have to have is we need to get that information out and have people accept what we have, be grateful for what we have, and then move forward. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it does to me because I live it.
Right.
But we are actually a very unique state, and we could actually be very innovative. One of the most innovative states in the country. It's amazing. So, that's kind of like the big plan. The little plan is really to keep the vision of school choice. I'm a Republican, of course, and, school choice is part of the Republican platform. And I also want to mention that I am a member of NEA. And you know what? Do you think they're going to help me? Sorry. I'm a member of the NEA because they help teachers. Because teachers are stuck. If a teacher has a problem in a district school, where are they going to go if there's no charters? They have to go to NEA. But if we have charters, you have a problem with your district school, you can move to another one. NEA is not as vital to teachers because there are many teachers that are paying dues, like myself, for NEA, but they don't believe in the principles that NEA supports. NEA goes across the board Democrat. They would never support a Republican, even if they're a teacher.
Right.
I'm sorry to say,
Yeah.
but it's the truth.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And we really appreciate you spending time with us today and telling us, answering questions for us and helping us get this forum and interview system put together. So thank you again. We really do appreciate your time and effort.
Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day.
Would you like to state your name again and the office you're running for sure, so that our viewers can hear that one more time?
Yes, my name is Arleen Standiford. I am running for Public Education Commission, District 9 in the state of New Mexico.
Thank you so much. We
thank you.
appreciate
All right.
it. All right.
You guys have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye-bye.